Welcome back, guys, to another Mesh Network technical analysis. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and get yourselves over to the free Mesh Telegram group. Links are all down below in the description. We jump into pound yen. So we have a look at the very strong monthly closure. We have a look at this previous area that we mentioned. So over here, once price started to drop from this area, we had this big move, which left us a lot of imbalances in the market, which we were paying attention to on the way back up. As you can see, so we've had that move that we were paying attention to over the last few weeks. As you can see, GJ is, once we've broken this important area of supply and demand around, call it 171, which price here initially gave us a rejection of that area. We had strong resistance. Prices held it as support in the past as well. So we're paying attention to this area. Once that area broke, we've seen a lot of volume come into the market. And as mentioned on the last couple of technical analysis videos, we were waiting for this area to break because we could see obviously a lot of clean traffic and a big potential move to the upside, which, as we called it, you can see we do have a lot of bullish volume once we broke that 171 area. So we're clearly very bullish on the monthly on GJ. Well, if you look at the weekly, once again, see current price action, very bullish. We have these small pullbacks and then big moves to the upside. So if you notice as well, we have a little bit of a daily trend line there. We'll go down deeper into that through a sec. But if we just look once again we go back to this area, because obviously, guys, you guys with being more experienced traders, you understand obviously a lot of the history of the price action can give us a lot of hints to what it's going to do next. And as you can see, this is what we were watching. Just on the weekly candle, we see once we broke this area, we see a massive move to the downside with almost no retracements there on the higher time frames. Excuse me. For establishing resistance around this area. Obviously, that's 170 area, but like you say, we've been paying attention to this big move to the downside. So we can see on the weekly, once we broke that area, we made that. A lot of bullish volume in the market on GJ. Now you can see previous candle closure. But once we had this big move to the upside, we did also break out of this bit of a channel that we've been seeing. So we broke out of that channel with a lot of momentum, and also this area of supply and demand around 180. So 180, it all broke, came back, give us a retest, also a retest of that trend line. And then we're starting to see price run out of bullish momentum. So we're running out of bullish volume. So see previous week's candle closure. As you can see there, it's an indecisive closure. We've got a small body, we've got a wick to the upside, similar to the wick to the downside. And as we can see, price is starting to run out of that bullish volume that we've seen. Obviously, we need, for a healthy market, we do need to start to see retracements and to grab liquidity from all these areas where we've got all these gaps. So I say we're still bearish overall on the weekly, but just paying attention to what we're seeing now with these previous 2 weeks candle closures being very indecisive. Yeah, go down into the daily. So there's that channel we've been watching. Nice clean bullish structure all the way trading up that channel. We did start to see a bit of resistance here, but like we like to see here is these ascending triangles obviously into this area of support. So we see these higher highs, higher lows until we get to this area of support. And then we see a bit of a squeeze on the smaller time frames within that ascending triangle before once we break, we see that continuation of price action to the upside. So just to be paying attention to here. So once again, we going off the weekly candle where we've seen that big weekly, that one weekly closure, we've seen a lot of movement to the upside where we've seen no retracements. We've got a lot of imbalances, a lot of gaps in the market down here. So we are starting to see this resistance establish at 183,700. We're seeing this area of resistance, but once again, just to pay attention to, obviously, going into obviously the convergence to lines and stuff, we've broken out of this trend line. I'm starting to see price respect it as support. But what we can see here is obviously this area of resistance, this trend line acting as support, and now we're in this bit of a tight squeeze on the triangle. So we could potentially have a retest this triangle before breaking these highs and continue on further, but it's just got to be very cautious, obviously, of that daily closure. So we had this daily closure, which is a swing high failure. So we had price pushed above this previous high on the daily, but then it failed to close above it. So it's closed like nearly midway on this candle as well, suggesting that price could start to see a reversal here and then start to break back inside this channel before trading back towards 180, sorry. But we could potentially see price maintaining resistance here, falling back inside this channel, retesting it, and then starting to trade back down towards these lows. Potentially trading within a range here, just to grab liquidity. But we could see price consolidate all the way over to the other side. I mean, we could pull back and potentially fill these gaps, but could potentially see price consolidate along this support up into this other trend line before taking back off, breaking these highs. But I would like to see a bit of a retracement on GJ at the minute. Like I say, it's overextended there. It's got a lot of gaps, a lot of imbalances, but just going off the weekly, if we were to see a retracement, we could see, even off the monthly chart, we've got this area. So on the weekly, we see price was established resistance before pulling back, established support at this area, give us quite a bit of a range here. Pulled back up, established resistance, same area, pulled back. The buyers were buying it up at this price, not letting it fall down. So then we've seen a break of this double top area, supply and demand area that we mentioned, also a very important area. And then once we've seen that break, we've seen a big move to the upside. So we've not had the confirmation and a retest of 171 as common support. So obviously, what was resistance, we broke, but we've not seen if we've established support now. So what we'd like price to come all the way back down and to establish support at this area. So what was resistance is now support. But yeah, that's basically what I'm looking on at GJ at the minute. So we could take break of this area, look to go long. Break of this area, could look to take short back into these imbalances or back to this area of support. But the highest, those are all positions that obviously get yourselves over to the Mesh Telegram, the free group. Obviously, we update our technicals throughout the week. Going off price, what price gives us upon market open, we can obviously predict with a higher degree of accuracy. But like I say, if we break above here, we can go long. If we break here, we can look to go short. But the highest probability would be to wait for price to do its thing, come all the way back down and give us the retest and the confirmation of 171 before establishing support. And then if that occurs, then we could potentially see a move back up into these highs, which if you look at that, it's quite a sizable move. It's over 1,000 pip move on GJ, but those are just a couple of scenarios that I'll be looking on. But yeah, very bullish, yeah. But like I say, this move that we've been predicting over the last few weeks is now basically over. So we filled that gap, we filled that imbalance in the market by coming up, and we've now retested it, as we can see with this wick to the upside, perfectly retested those imbalances. So we could potentially pull back all the way down to 171. But yeah, guys, get yourselves over to the Mesh Telegram group where we update our TA, and we put out some fundamentals later as well. Yeah, that's my outlook on GJ, but catch you on the next one, guys.